It's Friday night hangout. Let's celebrate. We celebrate, baby. Let's enjoy. Friday night hangout. Let's celebrate. Welcome, Adora. Friday night hangout. Good evening, Adora. Welcome, Kem Dilim. Welcome, Jane. Welcome, Theodora. All right, welcome, Mifacho. Welcome, Sumaya. Welcome, Esther. Welcome, Princess. All right. It's Friday night. Celebrate. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's Friday night hangout. All right. The new beginning. All right. All right. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's Friday night hangout. I'm super excited to welcome you to this new edition. And it's also the wrap-up edition of our month of October. Hey, who is excited? This month of October, we discussed health and wellness. And we had amazing guests from the first week, second week, and then we had our interactive sessions where we talked about a lot of things. And to wrap up the month discussion, I have my amazing sister in the house, Mireille Toulekima. She's going to be taking us through on mental health. But before I allow her to introduce herself and we delve into the conversations, I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for always tuning in every Friday, 7 p.m. I see some of the regulars here, and I also see some newbies as well. Welcome. This is our safe space. The Friday night hangout is where we learn to celebrate ourselves and get inspired to be the best version of ourselves. We also talk about topical issues where we bring in women who have broken grounds in different endeavors, and then we have interactive dialogues on the way forward. You can't leave a Friday night hangout without a nugget or two. You also can't live without doses of laughter. And that is what we do here. That this is Friday night. So if you're just tuning in, I want to see your thank God it's Friday. TGIF. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Welcome, Jane. Welcome, Success. It's nice to have you. Welcome, Daisy. It's nice to have you in here. And I want to see your. Oh, it's someone's birthday today. Oh, my goodness. Let us celebrate Nkem Dilim Onwumeyi. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Nkem Dilim. I pray for long life, prosperity, healthy years ahead, and may God grant you all the desires of your heart according to his will in Christ Jesus. Amen. So please let us celebrate Kem Dilim. Today is her birthday. So this is a shout out to Kem Dilim. Happy birthday. Oh, happy birthday. I'm going to give you a special gift because today is your birthday. And this is also a wrap-up edition for the month of October. So just remind me before we wrap up, I'm going to announce your special gift. This is from Friday Night Hangout to you. So if you're just tuning in, I want to see your TGIF. Welcome, Shola. Welcome, Princess. Welcome, Chidima. Welcome, Ozioma. Happy birthday, NK. We love and celebrate you. Yay! I see the better messages for Kim Dilim. Kim Dilim, you're a superstar tonight. We all celebrate you. This is your safe space. Thank you for celebrating Nkem Dilim. Okay, I'm excited to announce our winner for last week's edition. Our winner is Sumaya Musa. Let's give it up for Sumaya Musa. Congratulations, Sumaya Musa. Sumaya Musa won the contest for last week. She shared the video and she had 114 likes. So congratulations, Sumaya. We celebrate you. You've won yourself a cash prize of 5,000 naira. A member of my team is going to be in touch with you and you'll give us your account details and we'll do a transfer. So congratulations once more, Sumaya Musa. I celebrate you. Thank you for sharing the video. And the contest is still on. Yay, Sumaya is here. She says, yay. Congratulations. Please let's congratulate Sumaya. Congratulations. And remember, the contest is still on to the end of the year. So the share with the most likes gets a cash prize of 5,000 naira. So let's see who the winner for next week will be. So congratulations. Now, are you ready? I want you to fasten your seatbelts, get your writing pad out. We're going to have an outpouring today, like we always do. Interactive conversations. We keep it real here and we say it as it is. And if you have questions, please do not hesitate to use the chat box. I'm sure our sister Mireille can see your questions and I can also see the questions and we'll try as much as possible to answer all the questions. So to get us started, I'm going to give the floor to my dear sister, Mireille Toulekima. You would introduce yourself and then give us a short background on mental health and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on your platform and giving me the opportunity to hang around with my brothers and sisters in Nigeria. So my name is Mireille Toulekima. I'm based in Perth, Australia, and I mean, before we started this show, I was telling to my sister that I'm not actually a specialist in mental health, but I've seen so many of African sisters really suffering without knowing it and not really addressing the issue. So my background is in engineering. I'm a petroleum engineer by background. So I've worked in the oil industry for more than 25 years now. I've worked internationally across 4 continents, and 5 years ago became a full-time entrepreneur, doing more coaching, mentoring, and doing a lot of empowerment work, focusing on women in STEM. And so I have different programs that I've started, one in Uganda, one here with indigenous girls and women, to promote STEM with women. And I also have a show every week, the Greatness Engineering Show magazine. So doing a lot of work, across the continent and also internationally. So spending a lot of time on focusing also on entrepreneurship and global leadership. So that's in a nutshell me. It can be long when I introduce myself. So mental health. So what about mental health? Especially, we really want to focus on mental health focusing on women, African women. Mental health is actually a key issue in Africa, even if it's still a stigma for a lot of us, and for cultural, families or even women themselves, they don't actually want to acknowledge it, and it can be actually very dangerous. I mean, you have instances, especially after birth, you have postnatal depression that are not addressed, and so the woman get really sick, and they don't understand. They can't take care of their families, they can't take care of their children. You have also fatigue, because women are doing so much sometimes we have the feel, we think that we are superwoman, so we start to take care of everything, everybody, and forgetting ourselves and our own, our own health. So a key issue that, and I think women in Africa are actually more affected by men when we talk about mental health. And we've seen that it's not actually, there's no structure really to address that, because people don't even mention it. And like I said, it's a stigma. People stay away from it, and sometimes it's actually mistaken, especially when it goes to a very critical level. It's actually mistaken to witchcraft or spirit possession, all kind of, they give it all kind of name without really, addressing the problem. And I must say that, with the lockdown and with what's happening in the pandemic, the numbers are going really high.
Yeah.
And still, we have this rampant disease, because that's another pandemic in a way, that women have to go through. So a lot of work to be done, and first of all, really making sure that women understand, identify it, and get, and get treatment, and get treated for it, and get the attention from the family to help them to address that. Because if it stayed, at the same stage, then, it can deteriorate to a point where we can't, we are not functional anymore. So
Yeah.
it's important that we take care of it. And one thing that I really do and talk about when, I go on different platforms, is to make sure that women put it on their agenda, because we have a lot of group, women addressing all kind of problem, talking about empowering women. But the empowerment start with our own health. So that's something that should be on every single agenda when we talk about empowering women, because, unfortunately, because of tradition, because of cultural, cultural
Yeah.
uh, and the different culture that we have, women have to cope with so much. I mean, they have to cope with the workload. They have to cope with, some of them work, and it doesn't stop there. They take care of, in-laws. They take care of their own families. They take care of their own parents. So it's quite a lot of work, and sometimes, we don't delegate, and we just, live, and a lot of us live, I've seen a lot of sisters live with mental health without even knowing it.
Mm.
And they were already in mental health, so, and then it's not addressed, and by the time you realize, it's too late. They're completely they're completely not functional at all. And if they don't have a family to support them, then, they're just left them. And so that's something that needs to really, really take a center stage, I think, right now.
Thank you so much, Mireille. I really love the direction you've gone with this. I also love the way you've contextualized it, especially to the African setting, because most of us African women think that we're super women. We want to bear all the burden, and we're ashamed to ask for help because we feel that it means, excuse me, we're not good enough, or that we failed. And sometimes we feel guilty because it's what the society expects of you as a woman. You need to multitask. And so if you're not multitasking, then you feel you have failed. We neglect our safe space, we neglect our me time. And I want to ask you this question. What are some of the things we need to look out for that puts us at risk of having mental health issues?
So I think the first signs are mental fatigue. I mean, sometimes we do so much, and we know we are fatigued mentally, but we just keep going for the reason that I've just mentioned before, and that you reiterate just now. The other thing is physical fatigue. So it comes as well, the physical fatigue again. I know a lot of women, in Africa, and I'm originally from Gabon. I've seen it. I'm pretty sure it happened in Nigeria. They keep going
Yes.
because they have to take care of take care of the children. They have to take care of their husband. They have to cook. They have to show that they are a real woman. If as the standard is defined for them. So that's the physical fatigue. And then the next step is, you now go into forgetting stuff, because, you have the
Mm.
mental fatigue, the physical fatigue, and now starting to forget things. And the next stage is really, feeling sick, having it can start with a flu, and then you start to be repetitively sick, and sleeping all the time. So there are stages. So I think we should already react when the physical fatigue comes in, and the mental fatigue comes in, and the physical fatigue comes in. We should start to react, and try to talk to a doctor, and understand what's going on. Or I know there are also, in some culture, traditional healers who can also have, can diagnose that as well. I don't know, it depends on different culture, but at least see a specialist, somebody who can help. And when the physical fatigue comes in, make sure to delegate some of the tasks, or and really take time to rest, because
Mm.
that's very important.
Thank you so much for this. And speaking from experience, sometimes when you're getting so fatigued, or you're feeling burnt out, you might find out that you shout more than you would normally would. Every little thing just irritates you. You find yourself screaming at people unnecessarily, or you find yourself just tearing up. You break down in tears for little things that ordinarily would not affect you. I say this from experience, because when I find myself, screaming a lot with people around me, I just tell myself, Joy, you're really stressed up, and it's time for you to find that your space. Now, for some of us, we may not have that opportunity, or we may not have that privilege of doing this, depending on the kind of work we do, and where we are at different points in life. But then this is where a very good support system kicks in. And that's why I keep talking about support system. You can't undermine the role of a support system in your life. I don't know if you can speak more to the need of a support system, Mireille, if how it can really help us move forward.
So the support system is very important. So when you feel like you have this mental fatigue, this fatigue, you are irritated, or you cry all the time, or any emotion in excess. The support, the first support is the family. And I think one thing that we need to do is really talk to people around us, identify somebody. It might not be our husband. Maybe we're not really comfortable, because it shows that we're really weak or whatever. In certain culture, it can be a sister, it can be auntie, or somebody. And have this support system, this person that you can talk to, this person that you can cry in front of, the person, or the person you can scream at, but not have the reaction, a violent reaction towards you. So really identify this person, or the group of person, where you feel like you are safe, you can express yourself fully, and you're not going to be judged on the different emotion that you're going to show. So that's one aspect as well. Another aspect is to look for professional support, which is look at psychologist, or anybody that actually have the skills and the capacity to really help you to address and manage, manage this difficult period that you go through. So those are the really key support. It can also be a group of people we are going through the same problem, maybe in the village or maybe in the city. Identify one or two persons who actually have the same problem as you, and really, try to address that as a group, and so that it gives you more determination or more strength to say, okay, I'm not alone. I can, I can actually travel this road with somebody. So I think those are the key three system that I would recommend when people are challenged by mental health issues.
Thank you so much for that. And while you were speaking, you talked about if you're not feeling comfortable discussing such issues with your husband, and that's perhaps because of the stereotype we have here. So that you're not perceived as being weak, that you can find someone else you're very comfortable with to speak to. And I just reflected, how sometimes as women we get burdened by different relationships, and by relationships that are not helping us grow. It could be in a marriage, it could be in a partnership, it could be in a sisterhood kind of relationship. But you find yourself with people who you feel that you feel guilty, but the relationship is not helping you. It is affecting you emotionally and mentally. But then you feel like you owe it to them to still be there. How would you recommend tackling that kind of toxic relationship and toxic environment?
It can be difficult. It's just like October is the month of domestic violence. It's just the same. You are so conditioned, and you are in a certain environment. Even if you know it's toxic, you still actually feel safe because that's what you know. You've been there for a long time, so you're scared of going out and going out of your comfort zone, because you tell yourself, I don't know, at least this one I've been there, and I can stay, I can manage, because I've developed a different mechanism and strategies to manage. But it doesn't help in the long run, because you always have, you're not yourself, so you basically refrain from certain emotions, and which is not very good for you, because at some point, and that's what trigger things like emotional health really worsening, and developing mental health, and sometimes depression, because you always you keep everything in. So it grows, and when things really, start to explode, then it's too late. So you really have to, at some point, and really look at, what is best for you in the long run. And one thing sometimes is to just look at, take time to reflect. Sometimes we're just doing all kind of thing, and we don't even realize we are in a toxic environment. Sometimes you just have to put yourself in a different environment, start to reflect, and see, okay, is it really what I want? Is this relationship really helping me? Or why should I stay, and pay the price if it's not bringing me anything? So sometimes just the fact, of moving from one place to another outside this environment where it's toxic can actually, help you to shift your mindset, and understand that, no, I'm really not, at ease there. I'm not myself. I need to go. But then you have all the cultural aspect of things, because when you get married in Africa, I mean, it's for life. It's not you. It's actually families getting married. to tear that down is just, another difficult thing. So you really have to, if you want to live, you really have to plead your case with your family. But but I think just do it and explain, how you feel, and especially if it's really too toxic for you. And instead of staying and saying nothing, because for them they assume that you're there. If you don't say everything, everything is just magnificent and everything is okay. So it's always good to also reach out and talk about it, and really feel the fear, but do it anyway. Sit down with the family, maybe start with your mom, and then next the mom can talk to your dad and things like that, so that you can in a way get out, because it's not, if it's toxic, it's gonna have a really really deep impact on you, and it can be actually fatal in some cases.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mireille. I really love the way you show the close connection between domestic violence and mental health and the impact it can have on a woman's life, because these are not the issues that we talk about every day. I see Chinelo here. She says, "For me, I don't shout, but I purposely withhold things which on a normal basis I would give out to the children, my husband, or anyone around without the person asking for it." So I like this, Chinelo. You've already identified a pattern. And so for you, you don't shout, but you withhold things that ordinarily you would give out. And this is a good sign. It is very healthy that you understand yourself and you know when things begin to go wrong, and then you can take steps. So when you find yourself doing things that ordinarily you wouldn't do, then it's time to take a step back and then to decide how you're going to regain your mental and emotional health and ensure that you're right on track. Like I always say, you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't
Exactly.
have it, you cannot give it. What you will do is to cause more problems for people around you. And that brings me to the conversation on communication. What key role does communication play in all of this?
Communication is very, very important, because you basically start to get frustrated and have those negative emotions when you can't communicate. So communication is really at the center of everything. You have to be able to communicate not only with yourself, because that's the first communication that you have to get right, is to understand how your mind is communicating with your body, understand what's going to trigger you in a certain situation, so that you know in advance that, oh, I feel this way, I feel my body this way. It means that this is the emotion that's going to come. So if you know exactly how your body relates, how your mind is linked to your body, then you can anticipate and really rectify
Oh,
the way you're going to respond, because you know the trigger, you know what triggers you, you know the emotion, you know how your body is responding, and so that's the first communication that you have to get right. The next step is to have the communication with people around you. You have to be able to understand, to make sure that you set the right rule of engagement with the people around you, so that they understand how you feel, they understand, when you need them, they understand that, they have to be open and listen to you. So have those rule of engagement clear about, with your husband, with your children, with your family, so that they understand that, okay, this is the way we should communicate this with this person, and especially when she feels this way. So communication is definitely one of the key things that you want to have right when it comes down to mental health, or any other domestic issue as well.
Thank you very much for that. I want to share a comment by Adeze. Adeze says, for me, I will shout and can't hold myself, even if my mind tells me to stop, but I will regret after. And that's what we just talked about. You're not in control of that point because of you're highly stressed and all of this. And I would like to hear from you. How does it work for you? And how do you resolve it when you find yourself going into that space? So while I'm
So when
waiting to, okay, go on.
So when I find myself into that space, I mean, before knowing all of those techniques, I was just like, the viewer explaining, shouting, and doing all kind of thing, and after regretting. One thing that I do is just
Yeah,
stop and retract, say nothing, just breathe, have the breathing, and really stop and get back to a calm, stand of state. Because if you react straight away, you're probably gonna do something or say something that is not right. So that's one of the technique that I use, is that when I feel that this trigger is coming, I just stop and retract. I can go, outside, or go in a room where I'm alone, so that I just take control of myself before I harm somebody, or I say, something that I will regret in a way. So that's one technique as well. And the breathing as well, there are techniques as well that you can use to breathe when, you feel like you're getting out of control,
mm,
and you're gonna do something that your body is gonna react in a way that's gonna be regrettable later on. So the breathing technique is good, but also the isolation or retraction or whatever we call it, are two techniques that I use a lot. And then when I'm calm, then I come back and address the problem. So that's because the one thing that we don't realize is that sometimes if we go out of control emotionally, that's how sometimes people get heart attack
yeah,
as well. Because,
yeah,
you just out of control. Your body, you can't control your body anymore, and by the
yeah.
time you realize, you created another problem. So
God bless.
it's important to get to know, how we react, know when those trigger, know those trigger that actually can put us out of control, and then take take those steps, the retracting, isolate yourself for a certain time to calm down, and also breathe, have the make sure that you breathe properly, and then you come back to be functional.
Thank you so much. And if you're just joining us, this is the Friday night hangout where we inspire you to be the best version of yourself. We discuss topical issues here as well, and we give you nuggets on how to face the challenges of life. And so, in the month of August, we're discussing health and wellness. And to wrap up the October edition, we have with us our dear sister, and we're discussing mental health. She has given us a lot of nuggets on how to address and prevent mental health issues. And so before I turn back to her, we're going to do our giveaways right now. So are you ready? I want to see the first. Now I'm going to take 10%. The first 10%, your number and thank God it's Friday. So your number and TGIF. So your number, TGIF, the first 10%, your number and TGIF. So while you're at it and putting up the numbers, I also, since we're discussing health and wellness this month, I also want to introduce to you a book written by one of us, by our sister Ozioma, and the book is on dimensions of life. The book is titled Dimensions of Life. And the book talks about it's an awareness raising book. It's a book that informs us on sickle cell disease. So it gives us enough knowledge. So if you're not, there are a lot of myths around sickle cell disease. Some of us don't have the facts right. And Ozioma she's a warrior, she's a survivor, and she's not just surviving, she's thriving. And so in her book, Dimensions of Life, she talks about what the disease is, how you can live with it, and not just live with it, but thrive living as a warrior. And so I would please ask us, if you're interested in getting the book, please just put in the chat box Dimensions of Life. The cost is, I think, about 1,000 naira. It's not so much. It is what's investing in to get knowledge. You know, these days we see some of us say it doesn't matter, you're in love. And then you see someone that has AS genotype and that person has AS genotype. You decide that you're in love and you forget about the future and you get married. You now bring forth children who are going to live to bear the pain of your decisions. So in that book, she encourages us to always make sure that we know our genotype. She encourages us not to get carried away by love, but to please think about the future and the children we're bringing into this world. We owe them that responsibility of being responsible parents ourselves by ensuring that if you're AS and you have a partner who is AS, please do not get married. She advises in that book, Dimensions of Life. So if you want the book, Dimensions of Life, please let me see it in the chat box, Dimensions of Life, and a member of the team would be in touch with you to ensure that you get the book. And also, while we're at it, I will take some, while I'm still waiting for the numbers to come in, we'll take only the first 10 numbers. So while we're waiting for the numbers to come in, I would also want to encourage you to get the Power Woman magazine. The Power Woman magazine is an inspirational magazine that helps you develop your personal and business brand. We give you concrete takeaways that can help you become the best version of yourself. It actually takes you on a transformative journey. We have feature articles of women who are already blazing the trail in different endeavors, and they tell us their stories of how they were able to rise above their challenges and become successful. And one of the things I do know is that when you listen to such inspirational stories, it helps you to become more creative, it helps you to be energized, and it also helps you to ask yourself reflective questions that can set you on the right track. So please, if you are so led, you can get the copy of the Power Woman magazine from my website, joyonyesoh.com/October slash hyphen Power Woman. So you can get that there. I see the numbers are still coming up. Great. So I will turn back to our sister who has been giving us a lot of nuggets. Now we have a mixed audience in here and we've been focusing on women. So I want to ask, for men, what advice would you give to them on managing their mental health, knowing that we have this system in place where a lot of burden also is also placed on men as the provider and all of those. And you know, we have this stereotyping of men. You say men don't cry, men are strong. You say man up and all of those things. So they tend to bottle up a lot of their emotions because they don't want to be seen as weak and vulnerable. So what advice would you give to men, African men?
So I mean, the advice is, and you're right. I mean, African men, they you know, they have standard. We owe them to standard where we don't want them to be emotional. So for them, it's a battle. If they have, you know, mental health issue, it's a battle to actually come up and say that, you know, they are vulnerable and they have the mental health issue, and the fatality are actually higher for men because they don't normally, even with their colleagues or their fellow over men, they don't, for them it's completely taboo. So what I really want to advise is that, you know, it's okay for them to be vulnerable. It's okay for them to be
Mm,
vulnerable. And just
mm,
like, you know, the advice that I gave to women, they have to find somebody that they can trust, somebody who can, you know, make them feel, you know, safe, that to who they can, you know, talk to, and really be vulnerable without being judged. And so
mm,
try to find this person, because if they want address it themselves, then it becomes really an issue. And a lot of I've seen a lot of the African men commit suicide when things are really too difficult. And because of this image that we have of them, they always have to be strong. They can't try. They can't they can't be vulnerable. So really find this safe space where they can where they can reach out. And if they can't, it's really, and I think that's probably the best option for them, so that they're not judged, is to go to the professional, basically. And because professional, in general, they have to keep secrets. So you can, go to the professional and get, really to talk to the professional, and then follow a treatment or whatever is going to come out from the diagnostic that they're going to get. So really open up, give themselves permission to be vulnerable, and really look at it more for taking care of themselves, more than looking at the way, focusing on what people are gonna say about them. Way. So really focusing on themselves, focusing on how they feel, focusing on the fact that they can be vulnerable, and find the right person, the right setting for them to express this vulnerability, and get treated, for mental health.
Thank you so much, Mireille. And I love this about giving themselves the permission to be vulnerable. I just love that. Because at the end of the day, it is you that have the right to give yourself that permission to be vulnerable, whether you're male or female. You don't need anyone else to give you that permission. And we always think that vulnerability is weakness, but it's not. It's a sign of strength. It takes a strong, resilient person to show their vulnerability. You can't be acting superman, superwoman all the time, and yet you're dying in silence. So you need to give yourself that permission to be vulnerable and seek for assistance, either from your support system or from professionals, depending on how it is. And then for those of us out there, we also need to be our brothers or sisters keeper. So if you find a member of your family or your friend acting in a funny way or an unusual way, instead of making mockery of the person, instead of laughing at the person, instead of making the person a topic for discussion, can you show the person some love and care by reaching out to see if there is any way you can support the person? Most people are not willing to speak because they're afraid that when they speak and tell us of their vulnerabilities, we take their news and we spread it around. And that makes people to shut down. So you see a lot of people commit suicide when they feel they're overwhelmed because they don't have anyone to talk to. So I want us to reflect on this. How are you being that support system for someone out there? Have you made yourself available? I understand that we are all dealing with a lot of things. Our plates are full. But in serving someone else, you also find fulfillment. And when you serve, you also find solutions to your own issues. You even see that what you thought is something so big is not even as big as you thought it to be, when you start interacting with people. So I want to encourage us to always look out for the next person. Don't be too fixated on your problems and yourself that you forget that life is all about interdependence. I always like to emphasize this, that life is about interdependence. I need you to survive and you need me to survive. And so we need to watch out for each other. We need to be there. We need to lend that helping hand. And really, we also need to be careful because a lot of people are going through a lot in the society right now. You don't even know what they're dealing with. And you can spark off something unpleasant. So please be open. Please share and also be very supportive. But if you're not led to share, then you can also seek professional assistance. I know in our climb is not something that we do, but we do have psychologists here. We do have psychologists that you could speak to, and you can even speak to your regular physician, and the physician can direct you on what to do. So please speak up. Remember what we discussed last week, for those of you that were here last week. A lady told us of her own testimony, how she spoke out and her health issues were solved. So when you cover it because you don't want people to mock you or to laugh at you, you will just die in silence. And life is so beautiful. We need to safeguard life at all times. And once again, I just want to appreciate you all for tuning in and for staying in. And if this is your first time on this show, I'm saying welcome, welcome. This is home. This is our safe space where we share, where we celebrate ourselves, and where we learn how to be the best version of ourselves. So you're in the right place. And I welcome you home. I welcome you to this tribe. Here we learn how to have so much fun. So we have fun and we learn how to distress. So this is the month of October, is our health and wellness month. And we're wrapping up the month, the wonderful conversation with our sister Mireille, talking emotional, mental health. And we've delved into different aspects of it. So if you joined us from the beginning, you'll definitely agree with me that she really poured out tonight. We've delved into different aspects of it and how it impacts on different areas of our life. And if you have a question for her, I will want you to drop the question in the chat box. If you have any comment, you drop it in the chat box and I will read out your comment to her. I also want to invite you, if you've not gotten a copy of my Power Woman book, I really want to I encourage you to get a copy. I talk about understanding and managing your emotions. And so some of the issues we're talking about here, I also dealt with it in that book. I also talked about how you can transform your mindset. You see, the mind, our mind is a very important part of our system that we need to safeguard. A healthy growth mindset is a wealthy life, is a positive life. And so if you don't filter what comes into your mind, and if you don't manage your mindset appropriately, it can be the breeding ground for all kinds of negativity and toxic things. So you also need to manage your mindset a whole lot. So if you haven't got the book, the Power Woman book, I encourage you to go to joyonyeso.com/Power Woman, and you can either get a soft copy for the sum of 2,500 naira, or you get the hard copy for the sum of 3,800 naira. And we ship to any destination. So wherever you are and you want the hard copy, you can get it. And if you want the soft copy, you just get a download after you make payment for it. So I'm going to turn to our sister for not her final words now, for the closing conversation before we give her the floor for the final words. So your closing conversation to wrap up all what we've discussed today. What would you tell us?
So what I really want to leave the audience with is, to tell you all, your health is everything. So make sure you take care of yourself first, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't help anybody. So you have to take care of yourself, your spiritual health, your mental health, your physical health as well, and be ready to serve, because otherwise there's no way you'll be able to serve. And if you happen to be really struggling with anything, and especially in this time of pandemic and uncertainty, and great challenges, please open up, give yourself the opportunity and the permission to be vulnerable. Identify somebody that you can talk to. Don't be afraid don't focus on the judgment that you're going to get. Focus on the fact that you want to get better. And if this person doesn't exist, go and find a specialist, and to help you, because you can't address it on your own. You need help. You need the support system. And stop trying to be a superman or superwoman. We need each other. And our sister Joy just said it. We are connected. We need each other. So if somebody in our community or somebody in our environment is not feeling well, and you identify it, lend a hand. And if you don't feel well, reach out to people. It goes it's a win-win situation. It goes in both ways. So make this effort. Don't stay where you are. Reach out, and if you need it, and if you on the other side, reach out to help, because everybody wins in this case.
Yes, I love this. It's a win-win. Everyone wins in this case. That's an amazing way to wrap up. And yes, Adeze says, wow, today's topic is so interesting. Yes, health is wealth. And Adeze says, Mireille, thank you so much. She really nailed it. Oh, God bless you. So there's a lot of love in the chat box. Thanking you for such an interesting topic. And so we're going to take the final giveaway. And if you haven't won, if you know that you're not among the first 10 the first time I called out, now is another opportunity. So I want your name, your number, and then we do TGIF. Your number and then TGIF. The first 10 persons, your number and TGIF. The first 10 persons to do that gets a data subscription of 500 naira, no matter the network. Kem Dilim says, the topic touches me because my own comes with action after series of warning. Okay, so now you've learned how to handle it. Chodra says, Chodra says, I have a colleague, after discussing things with her, you will hear it elsewhere. So that's what we're saying. If you only share with people that are trusted, if you're not sure of the person, please do not share, because it creates more problems for you. It creates more things for you to deal with. So if you're not sure of the person, please go and see a professional. Your regular physician is even okay. If your regular physician feels that, if you go to see your regular doctor, either your obs and gynae or your regular general physician, say, oh, doctor, I'm not feeling what, this is how I feel, he will take you seriously. And he would know if he has to refer you to a specialist, or if it's something he can, handle. So please, if you're not sure, you don't have a credible support system, please do go see your doctor or any other professional. Please, very, very important. Do not share to sources that are not credible. They create more problems than solution. So I see all the numbers coming in. Yes, 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 yes. And so, Kate Delim, I promised you a free gift because today is your birthday and we're celebrating you tonight. And so for Kate Delim, I'm going to gift you a copy of my Power Woman book, a hard copy of my Power Woman book. So a member of my team will be in touch with you to know if you're in Enugu to pick it up or if we need to mail it to you. So congratulations, Kem Delim. You have a free copy of the Power Woman book. This is from us on Friday night to you with so much love to say happy birthday and do enjoy your day. And so, my dear sister, I just want to say thank you so much. You started off by saying you're not a specialist in this area, but you really don't. You spoke like a specialist. You've really taken us on a journey, a very reflective and inspiring journey. And from the comments on the chat box, you can see that a lot of us were impacted positively by what you said. And in case anyone wants to contact you after this program, tell them how they can reach you.
So you can reach out to me on every single social media platform. So on Facebook under Mireille Toulekima, on LinkedIn under Mireille Toulekima, on Instagram under Mireille Toulekima, and also on Twitter under Mireille Toulekima. And if you you can, those are the key way of getting in touch with me. I'm very active on social media, so
Media.
I
You
can't
can't
miss
miss her.
you.
I know that. I know that. So please do reach out to her if you want to have further conversation with her or you want to deepen your conversation with her. Please do reach out to her, and I'm sure that you'll come away very happy. So thank you all. I also want to celebrate everyone on this show tonight. Some people dropped out due to network issues, but you all stay through. You all always turn up. I want to say thank you so much for always turning up every Friday, 7 p.m. And not only do you turn up, you always make this show very interactive. You come in engaged, you show so much love, we celebrate ourselves here, and this really is a safe space. I love the way with which we put out our conversations here without any fear. We put it out here because we know this is a safe space. So thank you for always keeping this space safe and non-judgmental. Thank you for always coming in fully present into this space. I really appreciate you all. And like I will always say, I love you, I honor you, and I celebrate you. And I hope that you will keep tuning in. Listen, in the month of November, oh la la, we have very interesting conversation. You know, we're winding the year down slowly. You don't have to worry. 2020 is going to end in a very high note for us, no matter what has happened. We're going to rock 2020 out, you know? And so in the month of November, we're going to be talking about fashion and entertainment. Fashion and entertainment. Now, we're going to take it in a direction that will blow your mind. Listen, not just talking about fashion and entertainment, but in ways that empower you as a woman, in ways that inspire you to be the best version of yourself. And we have a lineup of amazing guests as usual who will do justice to our thematic topic in the month of November. And also in the month of November, we have lots of goods that are coming up. So you don't want to miss any, or if you don't want to miss any episode. Success says, now November is my best month. Okay, Success, we look forward to celebrating you. Uh, so you don't want to miss any edition of the November edition because it's going to be hot. So you want to turn up fully prepared and ready to engage as usual. I love you all so much, but don't go yet. I want us to enjoy the Power Woman music. DJ, can we have the music? Now, you know what about the Power Woman music is I want you to listen to the lyrics. It's not just about the reading. I want you to listen to the lyrics. The lyrics is really very inspiring. And so I want you to listen to the Friday night hangout music. Let's celebrate. All right. It's Friday night hangout. All right. Okay. All right. Just focus. Every dark cloud has a silver lining. Just give yourself the permission to find your silver lining. Your silver lining. Don't you worry. Quit being anxious. All right. Woo! All right. That is right. Friday night hangout. Yes, I hope you enjoyed the music. It's Friday night hangout. I hope you listen to the lyrics. It's really so much fun. And before we wrap up finally for tonight, I want to remind you that the competition is still on. Remember to share this video. When you share the video, please tag my business page so that we can see how many likes you have. And the winner of the one that any share that has the most likes get the cash prize of 5,000 naira. So don't forget to share while you're at it. And on this note, I say I love you. See you next week, Friday. Sister Mara, what do you say to them?
Bye-bye, and God bless you.
God bless you all. We love you. See you.
See you.
All right.